Imagine waking up one day and feeling like a stranger in your own life. You look in the mirror, but the face staring back feels distant, almost unfamiliar. The person you once knew seems to have faded away, replaced by someone shaped by endless demands, expectations, and the noise of the world. What if that lost self isn't truly gone, but just buried beneath layers of distraction and pressure? Imagine walking through your day, going through routines that no longer bring joy or meaning. Have you ever caught yourself wondering, who am I really beneath all this? Am I living for myself, or just fulfilling roles that others expect? Imagine a quiet moment where you pause and realize you don't remember the last time you did something purely for your own happiness. What would it feel like to reconnect with that simple, true self again? These are questions many ask silently, especially as life's challenges grow heavier with age. How often do you feel lost in your responsibilities and forget to care for the person inside? How easy is it to lose sight of your own dreams while focusing on everyone else's needs? For example, think of a tree bending under the weight of the wind. If it bends too much, it risks breaking. Like that tree, when a person bends too much to please others or to fit in, they risk losing the strong roots of who they really are. Welcome to Wisdom Woven. Here, we explore deep truths that help us find peace, clarity, and strength within. If this message touches you, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to our channel for more thoughtful guidance. Drop down your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters here, and your journey is important to us. Many people lose themselves without even realizing it. It doesn't happen all at once. It's often a slow drift, small choices that pull us further away from what truly matters inside. Buddhism teaches that this losing of self comes from attachment, distraction, and living without awareness. By paying attention, we begin to notice the patterns that make us forget who we are. This awareness is the first step to reclaiming ourselves. The practice of mindfulness invites us to observe without judgment, to see clearly the moments when we're slipping away from our own truth. In the coming parts, we will walk together through simple but powerful ideas that help protect the self from being lost. We will learn to recognize when we're being pulled by external forces and how to gently return to our own center. Remember, losing yourself doesn't mean you're lost forever. The true self is like a seed beneath the soil, waiting quietly to bloom again when conditions are right. The noise within, escaping the inner storm. Listen carefully. The mind is like a vast sky. Sometimes it is clear and calm, but other times it is filled with storms, thunder, lightning, and swirling winds. These storms come not from outside, but from within. The noise inside us is often louder than the noise around us. It is the chatter of worries, fears, regrets, and endless thoughts. Many people live their entire lives caught in this inner storm. Their minds race with thoughts about what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. They replay old mistakes or imagine problems that have not yet come. This constant noise pulls them away from the present moment, from their true self. You may wonder, why does my mind feel so restless? Why can I not find peace even in quiet moments? The answer is simple but not easy. We have forgotten how to be still. We have forgotten that true peace comes not from changing the world outside, but from calming the world inside. In the teachings of the Buddha, this restless mind is called the monkey mind. Just as a monkey jumps from branch to branch without rest, the mind jumps from one thought to another without pause. This jumping creates confusion and suffering. When the mind cannot rest, the heart cannot find joy. But the Zen master says, do not fear the noise. Do not try to fight it with more noise. Instead, become a quiet space in which the noise arises and passes away. Imagine you are a vast ocean. The waves rise and fall, but the ocean itself remains calm beneath. When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts, try this simple practice. Breathe deeply. Notice your breath entering and leaving your body. Let your attention rest on this breath. It is always here, always steady, even when your mind feels like a storm. This practice does not mean you must stop thinking altogether. Thinking is natural and necessary, but you can learn to watch your thoughts without getting lost in them. You become the sky that holds the clouds, not the clouds themselves. In daily life, distractions are everywhere. The phone rings, the news demands your attention, problems at work and home pull you in many directions. It is easy to lose yourself in this chaos. But the true self is always present, waiting quietly beneath the noise. The Zen master reminds you, just as the sun is hidden behind clouds during a storm, your true self is hidden behind the noise of the mind. When a storm passes, the sun shines again. So too, when the noise settles, your true self is revealed. Some say that silence is empty, but this is a mistake. Silence is full of possibility, full of presence. When you learn to embrace silence, you open a door to your own heart. Many have tried to quiet their minds by running away or filling their time with distractions. But running away is like trying to escape your own shadow. It follows wherever you go. Only by facing the noise gently, without fear or judgment, can you find freedom. This freedom is not far away or difficult to reach. It is available in every moment if you choose to see it. It is the space between your thoughts, the pause before your next breath. When you practice this, you begin to notice a change. The mind's storms become less fierce. The noise fades into a gentle hum. You find yourself more peaceful, more present, more connected to who you really are. This connection is the root of happiness. It is not found in things or achievements, but in the simple presence of being. The Buddha said, "You, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." To love yourself deeply, you must first know yourself truly. In knowing yourself means listening carefully to your inner world, even when it is noisy. Do not rush this process. Like a river carving a canyon, change happens slowly. Be patient and kind to yourself. Notice when a mind wanders and gently bring it back to your breath. There is no need to force or struggle. The practice is gentle and natural. Each moment you return to stillness, you weave a thread back to your true self. Remember, the mind's noise is not your enemy. It is a sign that you are alive, thinking, feeling. It is part of your human experience. But do not let it control you or pull you away from your heart. The Zen master invites you to become the calm at the center of your storm. You are the sky, vast and open. Your thoughts are clouds, passing and changing. When you understand this, you begin to live with more ease. You lose less of yourself in distractions and worries. You find strength in stillness and clarity in silence. Life will always bring challenges, but with a quiet mind, you meet them with grace. You do not lose yourself in fear or confusion. Instead, you stand firmly in your own presence. This is the way of the awakened. This is the path of returning home to yourself. Let your breath be your guide. Let the silence hold you. In this quiet space, you will find a self that was never lost, only hidden. The masks we wear, reclaiming authenticity. The Zen master speaks softly, as if telling a story under the shade of an ancient tree. Look carefully, he begins, at the face you show to the world. Is it truly yours, or is it a mask you have placed to hide what lies beneath? Each day, people put on masks. Sometimes these masks are bright and beautiful, made to impress others or to protect oneself from judgment. Other times, the masks are heavy and worn, covering pain, fear, or doubt. These masks may be shaped by what society expects, by roles we must play, parent, worker, friend, caregiver, or by what we believe will keep us safe. But the mask is not the face. Beneath the mask, there is a self, waiting patiently to be known again. The self is not hidden because it wants to be secret. It is hidden because it fears rejection, misunderstanding, or loss. Yet, in hiding, it suffers, and the person wearing the mask becomes tired, confused, and disconnected from life's true flow. The Zen master asks, what happens when you wear a mask for so long that you forget what your own face feels like? When you speak through the mask, do your words carry the truth of your heart, or are they echoes of what others want to hear? In the quiet moments, when no one is watching, the mask may feel heavy. It presses down on the spirit, making the breath short and the heart restless. Sometimes the mask slips, and a flash of the true self breaks through, a smile, a tear, a moment of sudden laughter. These glimpses remind us that beneath the mask, the self is alive and waiting. Buddhism teaches us that attachment to false images of ourselves causes suffering. When we cling to the mask, we become prisoners of illusion. The mask is a form, a shape, not the essence. The true self is beyond form. It is like the clear sky behind the clouds. To reclaim authenticity, one must gently remove the mask, layer by layer, with patience and kindness. This process is not easy. It can feel like standing naked in the wind, vulnerable and exposed. But it is also freeing, like releasing a bird from its cage. The Zen master smiles and says, "Start by watching your breath. When you breathe deeply, you connect to yourself. Notice when you put on a mask. Is it to hide fear? To seek approval? To avoid pain? When you see the mask, do not judge yourself. Instead, welcome the moment with curiosity. Ask, what am I afraid to show? What part of me have I hidden for too long?" In Buddhist practice, mindfulness is the path that leads us back to our true nature. It is the light that reveals what was once hidden in shadow. With mindfulness, the mask loses its power. The self shines through naturally. Sometimes the mask feels like a friend. It has protected you through difficult times. Be grateful for the mask service, but remember, it is only a tool, not your home. Authenticity means living in harmony with who you truly are, not who you think you should be. It means saying yes to your feelings, your needs, your dreams, even if they do not match what others expect. The Zen master reminds, to be authentic is to be real. It is to stand firmly on the ground of your own being, without needing to prove yourself. Many people fear authenticity because it can bring rejection. Yet, the deepest connection to others comes when you show your true self. Authenticity invites trust, respect, and love, not because it is perfect, but because it is honest. When a mask falls away, you may find parts of yourself that feel strange or unfamiliar. Do not be afraid. These parts are your lost pieces, waiting to be healed and accepted. Buddha said, "Know yourself." This knowing is not intellectual, but a living, breathing experience. It is like meeting an old friend you have forgotten. Reclaiming authenticity is a journey, not a destination. Each day offers a new chance to remove a little more of the mask. Some days you will wear it again, and that is okay. Compassion for yourself is the key. The Zen master's voice is calm, steady. When you speak your truth, you free yourself and others. The world needs your unique light, not a copy of someone else. Letting go of the mask is also letting go of the need to control how others see you. It is surrendering the fear of judgment and embracing your imperfections with grace. Authenticity is quiet and strong. It does not shout. It does not demand. It simply is. The Zen master encourages sit in silence. Listen to the stillness inside. Feel the warmth of your own presence. This is the self beyond the mask. When you reclaim authenticity, life becomes simpler. Choices become clearer. Relationships deepen. Peace grows. Remember, the mask was created by many voices, family, culture, past pain. To find your true face, you must gently silence these voices and listen to your own. This is not about selfishness. It is about balance, honoring both your needs and the needs of others without losing yourself. The master says, like a lotus flower that grows pure from the mud, your true self can bloom from the soil of your past experiences, no matter how difficult. As you walk this path, be patient. Some days will feel like progress, others like retreat. Both are part of the dance. Authenticity is a practice of presence. It asks you to be awake to yourself and the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. When you live authentically, your energy changes. You attract people and situations that honor your true nature. The Zen master ends with this thought: you are not your mask. You are the light behind it. Shine that light gently, steadily, and the world will see the real you. In this life, we often walk surrounded by many faces, friends, family, strangers, and those we meet by chance. Each face we see acts like a mirror, reflecting parts of ourselves we may or may not recognize. But how often do we truly see ourselves in these reflections? How often do we let the eyes of others help us rediscover who we are beneath the surface? The mirror is a powerful thing. When you look into it, you expect to see yourself. But what if the reflection you receive from others is distorted by their fears, expectations, and judgments? What if the image you see is not your own, but a shadow cast by the world's opinions? Many people lose themselves because they rely too much on these external mirrors. They try to shape their identity according to what others say, what others want, or how others expect them to be. The gentle wisdom of Buddhism tells us that this is a path to confusion. We begin to forget our true face, the face that is always calm and unchanging beneath the shifting masks we wear. You see, the self is not what others tell you it is. It is not the applause you receive, nor the criticism you fear. It is something quieter, deeper, and far more real. It is the stillness behind the eyes, the space where your true nature rests. In daily life, it is natural to want to be liked, to be accepted. This desire connects us to others, but can also bind us. When acceptance becomes a need, we lose the freedom to be who we truly are. Like a tree bending too much in the wind, we risk breaking under the pressure of others' expectations. A Zen story tells a man who went to a master, asking, "How do I know my true self?" The master replied, "Look into the mirror and see what is not there." The man was confused. "What is not there?" he asked. The master said, "The mask you wear. It is not your true self." This story invites us to look beyond appearances. The mirror can show us many things, but the true self is invisible to it. To see yourself again, you must learn to look within. The eyes of others can teach us about ourselves, but only if we are awake and mindful. When someone praises us, do we feel joy or do we cling to their words, afraid of losing them? When someone criticizes us, do we feel pain or do we let their words shape our identity? In Buddhism, mindfulness is the key. Mindfulness means being fully present with what is, without judgment, without grasping. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to notice how much of your sense of self depends on others' views. You see the ways you chase approval or hide to avoid rejection. As you grow in awareness, you learn to step back from the mirror and observe without attachment. You realize that the reflections are just reflections, temporary and incomplete. Your true self does not depend on them. It remains steady like a mountain, no matter how the clouds move. This understanding brings great freedom. When you're no longer bound by others' opinions, you can choose who you want to be. You can act from your own heart, not from fear or need. This is the beginning of true self-discovery. But seeing yourself clearly is not always easy. Sometimes the reflections are painful. People we love may see us imperfectly or misunderstand us. Sometimes we see in others qualities we do not like, and these reflections stir discomfort inside. This is a natural part of the path. When you meet these difficult reflections, remember that they too are mirrors. They show you where you may still be hiding from yourself. They invite you to be gentle, patient, and kind with your own imperfections. In Buddhism, compassion starts with yourself. When you treat your own heart with kindness, you allow your true self to shine through. You stop hiding behind masks and begin to live authentically. Living authentically does not mean you ignore others or become selfish. It means you honor your own needs and feelings while also respecting those around you. It means you listen to the quiet voice inside and let it guide your actions. When you see yourself clearly, you also see others more clearly. Your relationships deepen because they are based on truth, not on illusions or false images. You become a mirror that reflects honesty and kindness. This is the true power of the mirror of others. It helps you see yourself again, not as a reflection of what others want, but as the radiant being you always were. Take a moment now and think about your own mirrors. Who are the people whose opinions affect you the most? How do their reflections shape your view of yourself? Are these reflections clear or cloudy? Do they show your true face or a mask? Remember, you have the choice to step back from these mirrors whenever you wish. You can choose to see yourself with your own eyes, through the lens of kindness and understanding. The path back to yourself is not about fighting the world, but about gently peeling away the layers that hide your light. It is about quiet moments of stillness where you listen deeply to your heart. In those moments, you discover that you have never been lost. You are only hidden beneath the noise and distractions. The mirror of others is useful, but it is not your only reflection. Look also into the mirror of your own heart. There you will find the pure, unchanging self, waiting patiently for you to come home. As the Zen saying goes, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Life goes on, with all its daily tasks and challenges. But when you see yourself clearly, even these simple acts become part of a life lived fully and truly. So, do not be afraid to look deeply into your reflections. Use them to see not only what is on the surface, but what lies beneath. The journey is long, but every step brings you closer to the peace of being yourself. In the end, the mirror of others is a guide, not a judge. It invites you to awaken to the truth that you are enough, just as you are. Walk this path gently, and remember, the true self is always waiting behind every mask, behind every reflection, ready to be seen again. Imagine a river flowing steadily through the valley. It carries leaves, twigs, even stones along its path. Sometimes the river clings tightly to what it carries. It pulls and holds, but the river does not stop for any leaf or stone. It flows onward, gently releasing what it cannot keep. People are much like this river. We hold on to things that give us comfort, identity, or a sense of security. These attachments are like leaves caught in the current, floating along with us. But when we cling too tightly, we create resistance and suffering. The river cannot flow freely if it tries to keep everything it meets. Attachment is part of being human. We form bonds with people, ideas, and objects. These connections help us feel alive. Yet, when attachment becomes holding on for fear of loss, it can weigh heavily on the spirit. It is like grasping a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. In the Buddhist way, attachment is seen as a root of suffering. This does not mean we must reject love, friendship, or joy. Instead, it teaches us to hold things lightly, like the river carries leaves, not clinging but flowing with a natural course. Think of a child learning to ride a bicycle. The child holds tight at first, afraid of falling. But the more the child learns to relax, to balance, the smoother the ride becomes. Letting go does not mean losing control. It means finding balance and trusting the path. Many times, people hold on to pain, grudges, or past mistakes as if these burdens define them. Yet, holding on only makes the river turbulent and heavy. When we choose to let go, even just a little, we open space for peace to enter. The river flows clearer, calmer. Imagine a tree in autumn. The leaves fall, not with sorrow, but because it is time. The tree does not cling to the leaves. It knows they will return in spring, in a new form. Our lives, too, have seasons. Learning to release what no longer serves us is part of the natural rhythm. The fear of letting go often comes from the unknown. What will happen if I release this person, this thought, this habit? The river does not know exactly where it will flow next, yet it moves forward without hesitation. There is trust in the flow. Attachment also hides in expectations. We expect others to act a certain way, life to follow our plans, happiness to come from external things. When reality differs, we suffer. But when we let go of rigid expectations, we welcome the present moment as it is. Imagine holding a cup of water. If you grip too tightly, the water spills. If you hold it gently, you can carry it smoothly. So too with life. Clench too hard, and things slip away. Hold gently, and you move with ease. Attachment to identity is another strong current that pulls us away from our true nature. We may believe, I am this job, or I am this family role, or I am these opinions. But beneath these labels is a deeper self, unchanged and free. To lose attachment to labels is to discover freedom. In Zen, this freedom is called non-attachment. Not indifference, but a deep openness to experience life fully without clinging. Like the river that welcomes all the seasons, we learn to embrace change without fear. Suffering arises when we mistake impermanent things for permanent refuge. The river's flow reminds us that everything changes: people, moments, feelings. Letting go is not giving up, it is wisdom. It is knowing when to release the leaf so the river can continue its journey. You may ask, how do we practice letting go? It begins with awareness. Notice when your mind tightens, when your heart clings to something out of fear or desire. Simply observe without judgment. This is the first step. Next, breathe into that feeling. Imagine breathing out the grip, softening your hold. With every exhale, relax a little more. The river flows because it does not resist. You too can flow. Sometimes letting go is painful. It can feel like a small death. But remember, after the fall of leaves, new growth begins. After the river releases a stone, it glides over smoother waters. You do not need to force release. Letting go is a gentle art. Like the river meets the ocean, surrender happens naturally when the time is right. When you learn to let go gracefully, your heart becomes lighter. You experience more peace, more freedom. You discover that you are not what you hold on to. You are the river itself, flowing, changing, alive. Attachment can also teach us. It shows us what we value deeply. But holding too tightly hides the gift. The river teaches balance. Cherish what comes, release what must go. In daily life, you may face attachments to habits, possessions, or relationships that no longer serve you. Reflect quietly. What am I holding on to that holds me back? What would happen if I let it flow away? You may find it helpful to sit quietly and imagine the river. See your attachments as leaves on the water. Watch them pass by without grabbing. Feel the freedom in release. Letting go does not mean losing love. It means loving without possession. It means being present with others without needing to control or own. The river flows because it trusts. Trust in your own flow. Trust that life will carry you where you need to be. Attachment fades when met with mindful presence. When you're fully here, now, clinging loses its power. The river of your life moves freely again. Remember, the art of letting go is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself. Each step toward release is a step toward peace. May you learn to flow like the river, holding lightly, moving gently, and embracing the ever-changing dance of life. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a busy marketplace. Thoughts rush past like people in a crowd, each one pulling your attention this way and that. Some are loud, demanding your focus. Others whisper quietly, but none seem to stay long. You try to hold on to them, but they slip away like water through your fingers. This is how most of us live, caught up in the ceaseless flow of our thoughts. Now, what if you could find the silence between these thoughts? That quiet space that is always there but often unnoticed because the noise is so loud. This silence is not empty. It is full of presence, stillness, and truth. It is in this silence that your true self lives. Not the self that is wrapped in worries or plans, but the self that is calm, aware, and free. Many people never notice this silence because they believe their thoughts define who they are. They say, I am my worries, or I am my plans. But the truth taught by the Zen tradition is that you are not your thoughts. You are the space in which thoughts arise and pass away. To meet this true self, you must learn to be still. Not just physically still, but still in your mind. This does not mean forcing your thoughts away. Instead, it means watching them gently, without judgment, like clouds drifting across the sky. When you watch your thoughts this way, you begin to see how they come and go. You realize that they are not permanent, and they do not control you. In the practice of Zen, This stillness is called zazen, or sitting meditation. It is simple yet profound. You sit quietly, focusing on your breath, and allow your thoughts to arise and fall without chasing them. At first, this may seem difficult. The mind will protest, jumping from one idea to another. But with patience, the gaps between the thoughts begin to grow longer. In those moments of silence, a deep peace can be found. It is not something you create. It is always there, waiting beneath the noise. Like the calm surface of a lake beneath a stormy sky, this peace is your natural state. When you rest in this silence regularly, you start to notice changes in your daily life. You become less reactive, less controlled by sudden emotions. You begin to see situations clearly, without the cloud of anxiety or anger. This clarity comes from meeting your true self, the self that is steady and wise. This is why the silence between thoughts is so important. It is the doorway to understanding who you really are, not the roles you play, the successes or failures you experience, or the labels others give you. The true self is beyond all of these things. Imagine a river flowing steadily. The water is always moving, just like your thoughts. But the riverbed beneath the water remains firm and unmoving. The silence between thoughts is like the riverbed, solid, enduring, and supporting everything above it. When you connect with this inner foundation, you're no longer swept away by every passing thought or feeling. Many who seek happiness and peace search outwardly, hoping for change in their environment or relationships. But the Zen teaching shows us that the greatest peace comes from turning inward, to the silent space inside. This is the place where suffering loses its grip and where freedom begins. In life, it is easy to become lost in distractions. The world is full of noise, phones ringing, conversations, endless tasks. These external noises often mirror the internal noise of our busy minds. But when you practice returning to the silence within, you create a refuge that no one can take away. This refuge is like a sanctuary, a place of calm and safety. When storms of life come, as they always will, you can return to this inner silence and find strength to face them. You do not have to run from your problems or hide from your fears. Instead, you meet them with a steady heart. One might wonder, how do I begin to find this silence when my mind is so restless? The answer is simple. Start where you are. Even a few moments each day of quiet breathing can open the door. Sit quietly. Feel the breath entering and leaving your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest or belly. When thoughts come, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Over time, this practice becomes easier. The mind learns that it does not need to chase every thought. You learn to rest in the space between, where silence lives. This space is not just for meditation time. It is available in every moment if you remember to pause and look. When washing dishes, walking, or even listening to someone speak, you can bring your awareness to the present moment. In doing so, you invite silence into your day. Zen teaches that this awareness is not something far away or difficult to reach. It is right here, right now, beneath the surface of your thoughts. You do not need to become someone else or change who you are. You only need to see clearly what is already present. When you live from this place of silence, your actions become more thoughtful and your words more meaningful. You respond to life rather than react. You begin to understand that peace is not something outside to be found, but a quality you can cultivate inside. In this way, meeting your true self is not a one-time event, but a daily journey. Each day offers chances to practice stillness, to notice when the mind is busy, and to gently return to silence. Remember, the self that is hidden in silence is kind and patient. It accepts you as you are, without judgment or demand. It does not ask you to be perfect or to hold onto any particular image. It simply invites you to be present, fully and completely. As you deepen in this practice, you may notice a softening inside, a letting go of old fears and burdens. You may feel lighter, more connected, and more alive. The silence between thoughts is like a door opening to your own heart. Behind that door lies your true self, steady, clear, and free. When you meet this self, you no longer feel lost. You know where you belong. This is the gift of Zen, the invitation to come home to yourself. Not by searching outside, but by diving deep within, into the quiet space where your true nature waits patiently. Imagine a stage. On this stage, many roles are played. You are costumes made by others, scripts written long ago, and masks shaped by expectations that surround you. You act for an audience that seems endless: family, friends, society, even yourself. Sometimes the applause feels good. Sometimes the silence is heavy. But what happens when the stage becomes so large, so loud, that you forget where the stage ends and where you begin? Many walk through life like this, carrying the heavy weight of expectations. They try to live up to what others want, what others say is right, or what their own mind insists is necessary to be accepted or loved. This weight is invisible but heavy. It bends the spirit slowly, like a tree under constant wind. At first, it seems like strength to carry it, but over time, the strength fades and only exhaustion remains. Expectations are like invisible chains. They can tie you to a path that is not yours. When you step on this path, you may feel safe because it is known, but it is not freedom. The path may be crowded, loud, and full of directions, but it does not lead you to your true self. Instead, it leads you further away. When you carry the weight of expectations, you may lose your voice. You speak words that please others, not the ones that come from your heart. You smile when your soul wants to cry. You live days that look full to others but feel empty inside. This is the silent suffering of many. The Zen teaching tells us, to know the self, one must first let go of all that is not self. It is like peeling layers of an onion. Expectations are one of those layers. Each expectation removed brings you closer to the core. But it is not easy. The world often rewards those who wear the right mask, who follow the right script. Stepping off the stage can feel like stepping into the unknown, a place without applause or approval. Yet, stepping off the stage is the beginning of true freedom. Imagine standing alone in a quiet forest, away from the noise of the crowd. Here, there's no need to act. No need to prove anything. The trees do not judge you. The wind does not demand. The river does not ask why you are silent. In this silence, you begin to hear the voice of your true self. This voice is soft but steady. It speaks in the language of peace, presence, and truth. It tells you that you are enough as you are, without roles, without approval, without the burden of others' hopes. It invites you to rest in being, not doing. In daily life, expectations often come wrapped in love and care. A child expects a parent's attention. A friend expects loyalty. A society expects conformity. These are not bad things. They show connection and responsibility. But when expectations become demands, when they squeeze the breath out of your own needs, they become a trap. How do you know when the weight is too heavy? When the joy in your heart feels small, when your body is tired but your mind cannot rest, when your smile feels forced and your words sound hollow. These are signs that the stage has taken too much. The first step to stepping off the stage is awareness. To notice the chains, to see the masks, to hear the scripts that you no longer want to perform. This awareness is like a gentle light in a dark room. It does not judge the player. It only shows what is there. When you become aware, you can begin a question. Whose voice am I hearing? Whose path am I following? Am I living for others or for myself? These questions open a space for choice. Before, it may have felt like there was only one way, the way everyone else took. Now, there's a moment to decide. To step off the stage does not mean rejecting all connection. It means choosing connection that nourishes your soul, not drains it. It means saying yes to what feels true and no to what breaks your spirit. It means holding your own hand and walking your own way, even if the path is quiet and the steps slow. This path is not empty. It is full of presence. It is rich with the simple beauty of being here, now without masks. It is like the morning sun shining gently on your face, or the calm breath that moves in and out with steady rhythm. Buddhism teaches the middle way, the path between extremes. Between trying to please everyone and shutting the world out. Between losing yourself in expectations and rejecting all care. The middle way is to walk with awareness, holding your truth softly in your heart. On this path, compassion is important. Compassion for yourself and for others. Understand that others also carry their own expectations and burdens. They may not see the stage they perform on any more than you do. Compassion does not mean accepting harm or loss of self, but seeing all beings as learners, each on their own journey. Sometimes, stepping off the stage can bring fear. Fear of being alone, of losing relationships, of not being accepted. This fear is natural. It shows how deeply we have intertwined our self-worth with external approval. But fear can be met with courage, a quiet courage that grows from knowing you're not your roles or others' opinions. Practice helps. Each day, you can take small steps. A moment to pause before saying yes. A breath to remind yourself who you are beyond the mask. A simple truth spoken softly to your heart. I am here just as I am. In this way, the weight of expectations becomes lighter. The chains loosen. The stage grows smaller, and your space grows larger. You begin to dance not for others, but for yourself. The dance of being free, being true, being alive. Remember, the self is not something to find out there, on the stage, or beyond the crowd. The self is always within you, quiet and steady. It waits patiently, inviting you home. Home is not a place. It is a state of being where you rest without pretending, where you meet yourself with kindness and truth, where you no longer fear the silence, because you know it holds your deepest peace. To step off the stage is to come home to yourself. It is to live without the heavy weight of expectations and to walk your path with gentle confidence. This is the way of the Zen master, not to escape the world, but to live in it fully awake, fully present, and fully free. The flow of time, aging without losing yourself. Sit with me, just for a while. Let's not rush. Let's not look at the clock. Time will move on anyway. But in this moment, let us be still together. As the years pass, many things change. The body softens. The hair turns gray. Some friends walk a little slower. Some loved ones are no longer with us. The world feels faster, louder. It sometimes seems harder to keep up, and quietly, we may begin to wonder, am I still myself? There's a quiet fear that creeps into many hearts with age, not of death, but of fading. Fading from relevance, fading from purpose, fading from who we once were. We might not say it out loud, but we feel it in our chest. A small ache that says, I'm not who I used to be. But the Zen way reminds us, you are not meant to stay the same. The river does not hold onto each drop. It flows. The tree does not cling to each leaf. It lets go. Still, it remains a tree. And you, too, remain yourself, even as you change. Losing yourself is not about growing older. It happens only when you stop listening to your spirit. You see, youth is loud. It wants to prove, to build, to race. But wisdom speaks in whispers, in slower steps, in gentler thoughts. Aging is not the end of yourself. It is the uncovering of a deeper self that had no time to speak before. There's a strength in slowness. There's clarity in quiet. There's a kind of joy in not needing to impress anyone anymore. And this joy is not small, it is sacred. Do not look in the mirror only for the person you once were. Look deeper. Look with the eyes of compassion. You are still here, and that matters. Many people believe they've lost themselves because they can no longer do what they once did. But is that true? Or have they simply confused doing with being? You are not your job. You are not your achievements. You are not the speed at which you move. You are the awareness behind the eyes. You are the kindness in your voice. You are the stillness that watches the sunrise and feels something quiet in the heart. Aging does not take these things away. In fact, it brings them closer. But the world around you may try to convince you otherwise. It might say, you are no longer needed. Your best years are behind you. You are less now. Do not believe it. Even the Buddha aged. He walked more slowly. He grew tired. He faced illness. And yet, His wisdom only grew stronger. He was not ashamed of his aging. He embraced it as part of the path. In the temple gardens, the oldest trees are not cut down. They are honored. They're leaned against. They're listened to. Their roots are deep. Their bark carries the memory of storms and sun and many, many seasons. And so do you. When you were younger, perhaps you had to fight to find your place. Now, you can simply be. You have already walked through fire and rain. You have seen joy and loss. You carry stories in your eyes. Let that be your presence. There is no need to shout. The river does not shout, and yet it shapes the earth. Some people spend their last years trying to go backward, trying to recapture what has already passed. But this only brings sorrow. Instead, look at what time is offering now: peace, space, perspective, the chance to be free from old games and old fears. Ask yourself, what is truly important to me now? What do I want to give my heart to? What do I no longer need to chase? The answers come more easily when you sit quietly. Let the breath rise and fall. Let the past rest. Let the future wait. Feel this moment. It is enough. Buddhism teaches us to look at the self like a wave. A wave rises, it moves, it crashes, it returns to the sea. But it never truly disappears. It changes shape. It becomes part of something larger. So, too, we move through life, changing forms, yet never truly gone. Aging is not a loss. It is a return to essence, a return to the simple, a return to what matters most. When we stop fighting time, we find peace. When we stop wishing we were different, we find beauty in what we are. The eyes may dim, but the vision of the heart can become clearer. The hands may tremble, but they still know how to hold love. The body may weaken, but the soul grows wiser, more spacious, more accepting. And sometimes, the softest voice in the room carries the deepest truth. So do not say, I have lost myself. Instead ask, what part of me is now ready to be seen? You have not disappeared. You have simply shed layers that no longer fit. The opinions of others, the old fears, the endless striving. What remains is you, clear, calm, and real. Sit with that truth. Let it wash over you like warm rain. Let it soften your heart. The wind still listens to you. The stars still shine for you. Your presence still matters. And the self you feared was gone. It is here, beneath the noise, beneath the labels. It is watching, breathing, being. Let the world rush by. Let the seasons change. You're not lost. You are simply arriving again and again, in each moment, more whole than before. Imagine sitting alone, not because you have to, but because you choose to. The world around you is still and quiet, and in this stillness, there's a deep invitation, an invitation to return home to yourself. This home is not a place with walls or furniture. It is a place inside your own being, where the rushing river of life slows and you find your true center. Many people fear being alone. They think solitude means loneliness. But solitude, in its purest form, is not about being lonely. It is about being fully present with yourself, without distractions, without the noise of opinions, worries, or endless tasks. It is a sacred space where you can breathe freely and just be. When we are busy with life's demands, it is easy to forget this inner place. We fill our days with talking, working, planning, worrying, so much that we lose touch with the quiet within. The mind becomes crowded, like a room packed with too many things. In such a room, it is hard to see clearly or feel peaceful. But when you sit quietly, when you allow yourself to simply be, something magical happens. The clutter begins to settle, like dust falling from a still surface. The breath slows, the heart softens, and the mind, once busy, becomes calm like a clear pond reflecting the sky. This calm is not empty or dull. It is alive with awareness. It is the root of your strength and the source of your peace. This is your true self, not the self shaped by others' expectations or the endless noise of the world, but the self that simply exists, perfect as it is. In solitude, you meet yourself again. You learn to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. You hear the quiet whispers of your soul, the gentle nudges that guide you toward what truly matters. You find the courage to face your fears and the wisdom to embrace your imperfections. Solitude is a teacher. It shows you that you do not need to run from your thoughts or feelings. You can welcome them, observe them, and let them pass like clouds in the sky. You learn that you are not your worries, not your past mistakes, not your future anxieties. You are the awareness behind all of these. This awareness is always with you, but becomes clearer when you stop and turn inward. Just as the moon's reflection shines brightest on still water, your true nature shines brightest in moments of quiet solitude. Sometimes, solitude means being physically alone. Other times, it means creating a mental space where you're not distracted by noise or busyness, even when surrounded by people. It is about drawing a gentle boundary, saying this time is for me. Many fear silence because it reveals things they have been avoiding. But the Zen way teaches us that it is in this silence we heal. The silence holds no judgment. It is a mirror reflecting truth, not blame. By embracing solitude, you find freedom. Freedom from a constant need to perform, to please, to be someone you are not. Freedom from the anxiety of never doing enough or being enough. In solitude, you remember that you are enough, just as you are. As you practice solitude, you may notice your heart opening. Compassion grows, not only for others but also for yourself. You begin to treat yourself with kindness, patience, and understanding. You realize that caring for your own soul is not selfish, it is necessary. Solitude deepens your connection with life itself. Without the distractions, you become more aware of the simple wonders around you. The light filtering through leaves, the rhythm of your breath, the taste of your food, the feeling of the earth beneath your feet. In this simple presence, life feels rich and full. You discover that joy does not come from things or achievements, but from being alive and aware in this very moment. The art of solitude is a gentle practice. It does not demand you to become perfect or meditate for hours. It invites you to find small moments each day to pause, breathe, and be with yourself. Start by simply noticing your breath. Feel it as it enters and leaves your body. Let this simple act anchor you to the present. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back. This is the practice, returning again and again to yourself. Over time, these moments grow longer and deeper. You may choose to sit quietly each morning, or take a slow walk in nature, or simply rest without distractions in the evening. Whatever feels natural for you. Remember, solitude is not isolation. It is connection. Connection to your deepest self, and through that, to the whole world. When you know yourself fully, you bring your true presence to every relationship and every moment. In this presence, you no longer need to lose yourself in others' opinions or the rush of life. You stand firm in your own being, like a mountain unmoved by passing storms. The world will always have noise, challenges, and distractions. But you have found a refuge inside, a place you can return to at any time. This refuge is your true home. No matter how far you roam or how lost you feel, you can always come back to it. This is the art of solitude, the gentle, loving practice of returning to your center again and again. In this return, you find not only peace but also strength, clarity, and joy. The true self, patiently waiting beneath the surface, blooms quietly but powerfully. This is the gift that solitude offers, a chance to rediscover who you really are beyond the roles, the worries, and the noise. The journey inward is the greatest journey you will ever take. It is simple, yet profound. It asks only that you be present, be patient, and be kind to yourself. As the Zen master once said, to know yourself is to find the path home. May you walk this path gently and with an open heart. May solitude be your teacher, your refuge, and your guide back to the true center within. Imagine a vast sky stretching endlessly, clear and free, untouched by clouds or storms. This sky is not empty in a way that means nothing exists. Rather, it holds everything with gentle space. This is the nature of emptiness, not a hollow absence, but a fullness beyond form, a silent strength in which all things appear and disappear. In life, many search for power in doing more, holding tightly to ideas, people, or outcomes. Yet, true strength often comes from the ability to be still, to let go, and to rest in the space of emptiness. Emptiness, in the Buddhist sense, is not nothingness. It is the realization that everything is connected, that nothing exists independently or permanently. When we cling to things, our identity, our past, our fears, we build walls around ourselves. These walls can feel safe at first, but over time they confine and limit us. The wisdom of emptiness teaches us that by softening these walls, by allowing space within, we become more flexible, more alive, more at peace. Stillness is the ground where this wisdom grows. It is not the absence of activity, but the presence of awareness. Like a calm lake reflecting the sky, stillness shows us things as they truly are. In the silence of our minds, we meet ourselves without judgment, without stories or distractions. Many fear emptiness because they mistake it for loneliness or loss. But emptiness is the source from which all things arise. It is the womb of creation, the place where transformation happens. When we embrace emptiness, we embrace freedom. The freedom to be without needing to hold or control. The strength found in emptiness is gentle but unshakable. It is like a tree rooted deeply in the earth, swaying with the wind but never breaking. This strength does not resist life's changes. It welcomes them, knowing that change is the nature of all things. In practice, finding the strength begins with turning inward. When life feels overwhelming, when the noise outside is too loud, we return to our breath, to the present moment. We breathe in, recognizing the space around the breath. We breathe out, releasing tension and fear. With each breath, we practice emptiness. We learn to observe thoughts and feelings without grasping. We watch them come and go, like clouds passing through the sky. This simple act brings clarity and calm, revealing the natural strength within us. The path is not always easy. The mind resists stillness, craving distraction or certainty. But with patience and gentle persistence, stillness becomes a refuge, a place to rest and renew. Over time, we see that the self we worried about losing was never fixed or separate. It was always part of this vast, empty space. This realization does not diminish the uniqueness of each person. On the contrary, it frees us to express ourselves fully, without fear or limitation. When we rest in emptiness, our actions flow naturally, with kindness and wisdom. The wisdom of emptiness also teaches compassion. When we see that all beings are connected through this space, we naturally care for others. We understand their suffering as part of the shared experience of change and impermanence. In moments of difficulty, emptiness reminds us that pain and joy are like waves on the ocean, temporary and always moving. By resting in stillness, we learn to ride these waves without being swept away. This strength rooted in emptiness is a quiet power. It does not shout or demand. It simply is, like the deep earth supporting a mountain. It holds us through life's storms. As we walk this path, we come to appreciate silence, not as emptiness to be feared, but as a rich fullness to be embraced. In silence, we find our true home, letting go of the need to control every thought, every feeling. We open to life as it unfolds. We become like the sky, vast, open, and free. This is the heart of Zen wisdom. Strength through emptiness, clarity through stillness, freedom through letting go. When you feel lost or overwhelmed, remember the sky. Remember the lake. Remember the deep earth beneath your feet. You carry this wisdom always. No matter where life takes you, this strength is within. It does not depend on what happens outside. It comes from resting deeply in the present moment, in the space where all things arise and return. Emptiness is not absence. is presence, is the quiet power that holds everything, including you. In this presence, you are never lost. You are whole, free, and strong beyond measure. The home within, never lost, always becoming. Listen carefully. You have traveled far in this journey, though the path is never truly done. To lose yourself is not a failure, but a chance to find yourself again, deeper, wiser, more true. Like the river that flows and never stays still, the self is not a fixed thing. It is alive, always becoming, always returning home. To be lost is to forget that your true home is not in the things around you. It is not in the places you go or the roles you play. Your true home is within. It is the quiet place inside, untouched by noise and change. This place has always been with you, waiting patiently, like the stillness beneath the waves. Many search for themselves outside, in success, in people, in memories, or in the future. But these are like shadows chasing shadows. The real self is found when you stop chasing and begin to simply be. When you breathe deeply and let go of all that pulls you away, you find yourself again. In the teachings of the Buddha, there's a story of a man who lost a precious ring. He searched everywhere, feeling desperate. But in his searching, he realized the ring had been in his pocket all along. We are like that man. We often look far and wide, forgetting the treasure is inside us, right here, in the present moment. This inner home is not a place of perfection. It holds all your doubts, fears, joys, and hopes. It is big enough to hold your pain and your peace. It does not judge or reject. It simply is. To live connected to this home is to live without losing yourself. Remember the quiet moments you have found during this series, those times when you paused and simply noticed. Those are glimpses of your true self. They are like windows opening to a vast sky, free and endless. Do not be afraid of the changes life brings. Like the seasons, yourself will change too. Sometimes you will feel strong and certain, other times fragile and unsure. Both are part of the dance. Both are part of being fully alive. Let the wisdom of emptiness guide you. Emptiness does not mean nothingness. It means freedom from being trapped by fixed ideas about who you must be. It means a space to grow and to be yourself, whatever that is in this moment. In every breath, you can come home again. In every step, you can walk with your true self beside you. The path may twist and turn, but your heart knows the way. As a Zen master would say, do not seek the path. The path is here. Be present. Be yourself. That is enough. You have learned much on this journey. You have seen how the self can be hidden beneath masks, noise, and expectations. You have seen how to gently peel these away with kindness and awareness. Now, it is time to live this wisdom every day, to wake each morning and say to yourself, today, I will not lose myself. Today, I will be true to who I am inside. This is a practice, not a destination. Sometimes you will forget. Sometimes you will wander. That is natural. When this happens, return to your breath, your body, your heart. This is your anchor. Know that you're not alone. Every person you meet is also on this path, sometimes lost, sometimes found. Compassion for yourself opens the door to compassion for others. In caring for yourself, you help heal the world. Now, take a moment to feel your feet on the ground. Feel your breath moving in and out. Feel the quiet strength that is always there, beneath all else. You are home. Thank you for walking this path with wisdom woven. If this journey has touched your heart, remember to like this video, share it with those who may need it, and subscribe to our channel. Your presence here means the world. Please, drop down your thoughts in the comments. Your voice makes this space alive and true. The journey of not losing yourself is forever. It is a gentle unfolding, a return to the center again and again. May you walk it with peace, courage, and love. May you always find your way back home. A cup that overflows, returning again to the self. Sit down. Let's be still together. You have listened, you have walked, and you have breathed your way through every part of this journey. Now, sit with me. Let this moment be like tea gently poured into a still cup. No rush, No need for answers, just presence. The world you live in will not stop. The phone will ring. The door will knock. The world will ask again and again for pieces of you. But you now carry something different. You carry stillness. You carry a knowing. You carry the deep memory of who you are beneath it all. Do not forget this, but also do not hold too tightly. The self is not a statue to protect. It is a flame to tend. Some days the flame will be small, barely lit. Other days, it will glow bright and warm. Both are sacred. Sometimes, people believe that once they find themselves, everything will be easy, that life will no longer pull them or confuse them. But the truth is, even a mountain must stand through storms. Even a river meets rocks. Even a lotus blooms from the mud. What changes is how you meet life. What changes is your anchor. When you do not lose yourself, you stop fearing the noise. You stop chasing approval. You stop shrinking for others. You stand in your own soul, quiet and clear. This does not mean selfishness. It means living without pretending. It means giving from fullness, not emptiness. It means you say yes when you mean yes, and no when your heart says no. Buddha once said, "You, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." This is not pride. This is truth. To honor the self is to honor life itself. For how can we truly give love if we deny ourselves the right to receive it? In Zen, there's a saying, when the shoe fits, the foot is forgotten. This means when you're living in harmony with your true nature, you no longer need to think so much. You simply live. You simply flow. The effort disappears and presence remains. Do you remember the child you once were? The one who laughed without reason, who cried without shame. That child still lives within, not as a memory, but as a spark. Every time you're honest, every time you rest without guilt, every time you follow the small voice inside, you feed that child. Let this not be an ending, but a beginning of listening, a beginning of gentleness, a beginning of becoming whole again. Not perfectly, not instantly, but honestly. There will still be days when you feel lost. That is okay. The practice is not to be perfect. The practice is to remember, to return, again and again, like waves returning to the shore, like the breath returning to the body. You are not here to become someone else. You are here to remember the beauty of being yourself. The world may not always reward it, but your spirit will, your peace will, your sleep will. When you live true to yourself, the right people begin to appear. The noise fades. The weight lifts. You walk more lightly, even if your path is steep, and others will notice. Some will ask, what changed? And you may simply smile. In Zen, silence is a teacher. Stillness is a scripture. There is nothing more to prove. There is nothing more to chase. The greatest success is to be fully, joyfully, unapologetically yourself. Now, I will ask you something simple. Will you trust your heart again? Not because it is always right, but because it is yours. Will you let go of what no longer fits? Not because it was bad, but because you have outgrown it. Will you let yourself feel deeply again? Not because it is easy, but because it is real. Let these be your vows. Not grand promises, just soft truths. Let them guide you like lanterns in the night. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply becoming. Always. Do not wait for a perfect day to return to yourself. Today is enough. This breath is enough. You are enough. Now, take this wisdom with you, not as something you must remember, but as something you already know deep within. And when life feels heavy again, return here. Sit, breathe, listen, and remember, you never truly lost yourself. You were simply waiting to be found by your own love.